The Director General of the BBC has described the last week as difficult. This is as he faced a grilling from members of the House of Lords over the Huw Edwards scandal. Tim Davies said the corporation is in touch with the family of the person at the centre of the allegations. He also said he was keen to receive any information that would help the investigation.
This has been a difficult affair where we've tried to calmly and reasonably navigate actually some difficult concerns around the allegations of themselves, duty of care, privacy and legitimate public interest. We're in the process of looking at those facts, and I would say we're keen to receive any information because we just want to understand anything that's out there. It's difficult to give you a precise time on that. The reason is because you have to go through that diligently, assess the information. There's also duty of care concerns within that.
Joining me now, media commentator and TV critic Nigel Pawley. Hello, Nigel. Thanks for joining me. What do you make of what the Director General had to say to the Lords today?
Well, he had to say it. He's been put on the spot. He thought he was going to be facing the House of Lords, getting hammered on the licence fee and various other grumbles about the BBC. And, out of the blue, he has to talk about this, which was like a blessing in disguise in some ways. I thought he performed okay. It was a little bit too little too late, but it's clear that the BBC are in a very dysfunctional state at the moment because the acting chairman was there and her message, he was very conciliatory and very calm. Her message was slightly, Dame Olin Crowe-Stevens, her message was slightly more blaming journalists and she had done her best and it was very sort of talking down to people. So the BBC still have got mixed messages, and they are in a dreadful state. Not only just over this, but over the licence fee. It was revealed that 500,000 people have stopped paying their licence or stopped having a licence year on year. That affects their income. It was revealed they thought it was okay, but over 68 people now earn more than 178,000. When you bear in mind the Prime Minister earns 164,000, and rather bizarrely, they claim there's no point in giving them a pay cut to 150,000 because it would only save £6 to £7 million off a £3 billion budget. So the BBC still really hasn't put its act together. He got through today. Tim Davies is a marketer. He used to market a well-known brand of sugary fizzy drink. So he's very good at selling things. He didn't have much to sell today, to be fair. So he was scraping the barrel on all his expertise over many years to try and make what he had to say shine.
There's a piece in the Daily Mail today saying, in fact, I think it's in several other papers as well, saying that BBC staff say that policy on bullying, policy on safeguarding and everything else is deeply flawed, that there's no faith that there's a kind of strategy for dealing with problems in the workplace at the BBC. It's an enormous organisation with a highly kind of nuanced structure. You would think that would be precisely what would be in place there, wouldn't you? It's not an ad hoc, casual kind of a place.
Well, there's 24,000 people, as he said. There's 24,000 people and working there. But the problem is, it's the power imbalance. If you have someone who's on 1.3 million, without putting names, there are highly paid BBC stars. They, as we saw at ITV, there are very powerful people who are protected. Now, if you're a junior runner, for instance, or whatever, and you have a complaint against someone more powerful, it's difficult to trust that process. When you bear in mind that someone as senior as Newsnight, and I think we can name Victoria Derbyshire for making the investigation. When you have someone of her experience who actually launched her own investigation rather than go through HR at the BBC into the allegations.
Well, why would she go through HR? She wasn't making an HR complaint. She was trying to make a programme for Newsnight. Why on earth would Victoria Derbyshire go through HR in order to see whether there was any information about Huw Edwards that they could compile to consider making a programme about him for the programme she does work for, which is Newsnight? I don't know what you mean by that at all.
It was suggested by one of her previous former colleagues, I think it was John Sopel or Emily Maitlis, suggested that rather than investigate a serious allegation, whether it's true or not, we don't know, that's ongoing, she was criticised for being a journalist. So it seems to me the BBC want to be journalists when it suits them and not be journalists when it doesn't. And any journalist given that information would investigate it, anyone worth their salt. But as for the reporting thing, HR departments in all areas of the media, HR departments in general, aren't trusted. There always seem to be an arm of the company. If you've got a serious issue, if you've got a serious bullying problem or serious, it's very difficult to go above the heads of powerful people. So the BBC is in a mess. I'm sure it will try and get the governance in place. But the fact is, like all failures, whether it's social services or whether it's civil service or whether it's the NHS, there's always lessons learned, and those lessons will be learned from this. They will move on. They will put new things in place to stop staff, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, quite a few people feel that the BBC doesn't feel a safe place to work, and that's not good for our national broadcaster.
Nigel Pauly, thank you very much indeed.